Good day everyone. In this video, I will talk about the Lesson 7, the Agrarian Reform issue. The one who launched the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law, a Republic Act number 6650 on June 10, 1985 is President Corazon Aquino. It became a centerpiece of the government with respect to agrarian reform. Later on, the Arroyo administration passed the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program Extension and Reform or CARPER Republic Act number 9700 on August 7, 2009. Thus, this did not supersede the RA number 6651 but instead it intended to strengthen and improve the CARL. This means that agrarian reforms progress will continue even when all landless farms have owned a piece of agricultural land. The DAR is expected to proceed with its delivery to support services mandated by RA 6657. However, there are five issues that farmers from kaisahan tungo sa kaunlaran ng kanayunan at reformang pansakahan or kaisahan wants President Duterte to address in agrarian sector. So these are the issues as follows. First is the problems on installation and positioning of the beneficiaries of agrarian reform to their land. So according to the group, the Kaisahan, in many parts of Mindanao and Luzon, farmers cannot occupy their land due to titles being hidden by Department of Agrarian Reform or DAR offices. In Visayas, landlords are using delaying tactics to prevent and from occupying their land despite that the land is already in the possession of the farmers with titles on it. The group asks for nationwide inventory of installed and uninstalled agrarian beneficiaries for a better monitoring of the program. So according to the data from DAR, about 12,000 land holdings nationwide with a total area of close to 127,000 hectares have not been yet issued comprehensive agrarian reform program notices of coverage or do not have valid NOC. The lack of NOC means that the government has not yet done any of the 27 steps to have the land holdings acquired and distributed through the program. The next issue is weak implementation of agrarian programs. So, in the experience of the farmers, they have observed that officials do not have the political will to implement their programs. These were observed to happen when a threat of a lawsuit towards officials come up from old landlord. The farmers asked for security and protection to the officials of DAR who are involved in CARP. In fact, under the Aquino administration, the DAR failed to meet its target of 198,000 hectares of farmlands to CARP beneficiaries, hitting only 18% on that target, showing a lack of implementation despite reforms made in the current administration. The next issue is the cancellation of titles or certificate of land ownership award. So some of the farmers have had their titles cancelled for many reasons. So according to the official gazette, some titles were destroyed and had to be reissued through a court process, similar to filing a case. So these cases, according to the study from the University of the Philippines or UP, can take at least 148 days for processing even in the Supreme Court of the Philippines. Another issue is the human rights violation. The farmers believe that violation of their land's rights is also a violation of their human rights, with threats and even killing of their fellow farmers in order to evict them from their own land. They believe that this is a form of abuse that should be stopped. During a protest by farmers from Negros and Batangas provinces in June 2014, the task force Mapalad President Jose Rodito Angeles asserted that these have become the cost of fighting for agrarian reform. If there were victories under the Aquino version of the CARP, these were mostly won not through the government's political but by the efforts of peasants who fought with their lives and limbs to reclaim the land they have been tilling for decades, according to Angeles. So the last issue that we will talk about today is the conflicting laws. Despite the farmers' faith in CARP, they recognize that it incurs some problems because of some provisions of CARP are in conflict with the law. This includes problems with zoning conversion where some arable lands are being used for farming. So those are the issues of the agrarian reforms. And the issue of a genuine agrarian reform program in the Philippines is centuries old, since the Spanish and American colonial periods to the present administration of Duterte. It remains a clamor of landless Filipino farmers, like Kaisahan farmers. It is still an issue and promise often heard during national election campaign, but usually it is unheard or even forgotten since the candidates were already seated. Thank you for listening, and that will conclude my topic in the agrarian reform issue.